Everybody, what's up? We are back for another IG Live Talk series for the summer. I feel like I have been getting a lot of special guests and so intrigued and just so eager to tell their stories, and people that I've also reached out to have circled back. So shout out to everybody that has been like submitting to be a guest or like have circled back and said that they were available to come onto the IG Live Talk series. We really want to continue to be able to tell the stories of not only people who are in the industry in the indie side, but also on the Hollywood side too. So we are excited to be able to have a special guest. I feel like shout out to my homegirl Nikki, because she has been also the one that has told me to get this special guest as well. And it has been a cool little minute. This person has been following me. I have been following them. I've seen them pivoted and transition over even when I jumped into the industry in the 2010s. Just seeing them in their role, and now they have their own company. And I'm so excited to shout out to Kevin Wilson. Let me tell you something. As soon as I dropped the flyer, I had over 100 likes, a lot of comments, a lot of reposts, a lot of shares. Kevin is an OG in the game, in the industry, not only within just the whole spectrums of TV and film, but really just in all spectrums of just media and entertainment, period. He is an executive producer, director, showrunner, and founder of CEO of the Sylver Media Group, a production company specializing in live television, which is my first live television interview guest. I'm really excited to be able to learn more about that spectrum, because live, especially in LA, or just in all pockets, LA, New York, Atlanta, are really popular in the live space. So being able to see the production and stuff, you don't really hear that many people too often. So I'm excited to be able to learn more about Kevin's live award background. He also has unscripted reality TV programming, commercials, major award shows. Join us as we are going to literally talk about over 2 decades worth of his journey in the industry and how he got into it, how he has seen the change within the industry, because we've overall seen just now we have social media, we had reality TV as being popping, so he is probably seeing so many different waves of how content and how production and programming is being utilized from the idea to the audience. And so let me go ahead and get my special guest Kevin up in here so we can be able to hear more about his story. And also too, before I that we have, I just dropped the last episode of Preserve Your Archives, so all the episodes for that series is in. But without further ado, Kevin, how are you today, my brother?
I'm well. How about you?
I'm doing good. It has been hot this summer for California for some reason. I don't know if it's because of the AI and the data centers, but I need them to stop immediately, because it is definitely changing the weather. But Kevin, you have been like, I have been a fan, because I have been, we've connected even before I joined QOP. We just had connections with different people in the industry. But also, too, you just have over 2 decades of just being in the entertainment business. So I just honestly say shout out to you, because being booked and busy for that long and just being in that creative space for that long, kudos. Because I know a lot of people, even just now with the strikes, the double strikes, the fires, even here in LA, it has really shooken up a lot of people to just walk away. And so I'll even say, for the icebreaker question number 1, how you feeling with everything that's going on with the industry? If you can name probably just one word, what would you describe the industry right
now? One word?
I'll give it 3 words.
Okay, let's see. I'll go with 1, stressed. The industry is stressed.
Yeah.
Stressed out right now.
Yeah.
Stressed out right now.
And so for you, tell me a little bit when you first started, what even got you interested in going into the entertainment business? I know for a lot of my indie filmmakers, it was like that one movie. I know for me, it was like that one filmmaker or just that one moment. For you, what kind of made you have that spark?
So for me, it was many things, I guess. So a lot of people don't know, I originally started out in the industry in front of the camera as a child.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was a child actor, model, singer. I was like a trifecta. So back in those days, you had to sing. You had to be a triple threat. You had to sing, you had to act, you had to dance, you had to model. So I did all those things. But I started at a school called Barbizon back in the day, which was like the Midwest school to get into the industry, I guess,
Yeah.
like gateway into like the commercial world. So I started out in commercials and modeling like for different catalogs. Back then, you know, catalogs was the big thing. So I was modeling for the catalogs. I was also doing acting work and voice work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was originally a part of the Flintstone Kids situation back in the day.
Oh
So
my gosh. So you like, honestly, you was like your own child star, no shade. Like
some similar, some slight. But yeah, so that kind of gave me the bite, but it was like shows in movies like A Different World and anything Spike Lee made back then. It was like, you know, inspirational. You know what I mean? School Days, you know, those type of films, those type of movies, and TV shows. Different World was like one of the main ones. I was really upset I didn't work on it. That's coming back, but a lot of my colleagues did, so I'm happy for them for that. But it was TV shows and films and stuff like that that kind of cemented, even like Boys in the Hood and all those eras of films. They was just like really like making me feel like, okay, yeah, this is what I want to do.
And for you, do you feel like the distribution was more accessible to have that freedom of storytelling back then? I feel like you saying A Different World and Boys in the Hood, I feel like we were able to just get so many Baskin Robbins of different directors, different types of storytelling, and from love to crime to sci-fi to comedy. And we were able to give it in so many different ways to where I feel like now the fact that we have like these box cutters of IP, it's really hard to express that type of storytelling freedom with these parameters. Do you agree? Or disagree?
I do agree on that, but I feel like Black Hollywood has these clusters of waves, right? Like you had the wave when it was back in the day when we had our Sidney Poitier days, and they came up with Lena Horne and all those people with the Rat Pack, with Sammy Davis doing his thing and everything. And then, you know, we had another resurgence in the 80s with Eddie Murphy and all of those comedians and everybody doing their thing back then with I'm Gonna Get You Sucker and, you know, what Keenan Ivory Wayans and them did.
Yeah.
So we have clusters. Then we had another cluster in the 90s where, you know, we had all those shows with Mara Barker Kill shows and things like that. So we had another cluster recently with Lena Waithe and the Issa Raes and all that. So it'll be another cluster at some point in time. That won't be now, as we know. That cluster has been bust. It is not happening right now for people of color in this industry. Unfortunately, it's hitting us, I feel, way more harder than our cohorts. However, we always persevere. So there'll be another cluster where, you know, that'll come about and it'll happen. So I feel like we're down right now, but at some point in time, we'll have this another cluster of new creators or creators that's new to the world that's been out here hustling forever, like myself, that hopefully can bust through again and be a part of creating something that we can put out, you know, for the community and, you know, the world to see.
And speaking about some of your projects, you really took on the showrunner and really just became your own boss and created the Sylver Lining Media Group. And so tell me the point in your life where you were and what made you decide go like, okay, I'm working in the industry. Let me be able to start doing my own content. Because it's really hard to go from freelance to CEO.
Yeah.
And so for you, where were you at emotionally, or just your headspace? And then what made you just to decide to have your own media group?
Well, my father and my uncles, they always have had entrepreneurial spirits and have had businesses and done things. So it's always been instilled in me that way, I guess. I was working at Subway, my uncle's Subway at 12 years old. Like, I wasn't even supposed to be back there, but, it was my uncle's spot. So I went to work, you know what I mean? Like, let me work. Let me get this check. So, yeah, I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. So when I got in the industry and I got in the game, I always knew in the back of my mind I wanted to start my own company, my own production company where I did things myself, because I always saw a void, right? Back then I was working with like Live Nation and Clear Channel, and well, now it was Clear Channel back then. It's now Live Nation, and doing like promotional work for all of our 7 radio stations in Chicago. So I would see our culture being put on blast, but it wasn't put on this pedestal that I felt like it was missing.
Yeah.
So, I feel like my company could help bring that to the culture and actually give them the full culture and not a watered down version of kind of what I was seeing being given, I guess you could say. So that's what made me want to start my company. I originally started this company in 2008, but I put it on pause. I didn't get incorporated until later on, and then actually became a real company. So, yeah.
And so when you decided to do what I would say your first projects, what were you thinking in mind? I know a lot of things was coming into mind. Niche. What was your audience? What were some of the things that you felt like was the void that you wanted to bring into Slate? So tell me your first couple of projects that you have for the media group, and tell me your experience. Like, what was maybe the pros and cons? Because I know for a CEO, like, it is hard to have what I would say your starting 5. Like, if you would kind of put it in sports sense, like, what is going to be your projects that when they first see your about page, these are the projects that I want to stand out?
Well, I have my work had been freelancing for years for different networks, different companies, studios, TV shows, things of that nature. And I knew I wanted to do cultural things with my company.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to move the culture forward with doing different things. So I was reaching out just to, my network and letting them know, hey, if you guys need any production needs, da 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 da. So we ended up doing some commercial work first, which was just like random commercials that we would get. We were doing music videos, just trying to get our name out there and get some work out there. Then, we started creating small things that never really got greenlit. So unfortunately, those shows never really got to see the light of day. But as time went on, we started building more and more and more. So the momentum, it took a while to pick up, but we started out doing show stuff like that, like commercials and kind of, I guess now they're calling it experiential marketing. As we was working with Red Bull and stuff like that. Like back in the day, Red Bull was big, and they was throwing money out. So we did a couple.
Now it's Tubi. Back then it was Red Bull,
right?
But now it's Tubi.
Right. They would bring out their little bull and like, we'll bring out this and that. So we did that, and we did some shows, like comedy shows. That's how I got into a comedy space. We would do comedy shows. We would do live events where people would perform, and different acts, different artists, not just singers, but poets, artists, and just have like different events like that around Chicago at first. It's how it kind of started, yeah.
And so for you, when it comes to, I would say the difference between live and television. So like television, you can prep a little bit more. You maybe got a couple weeks to pre and all. Live, you only got a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So what would be for you? Tell me your first like experience getting onto the live and your like producer's hat, or just even just the skills that you had going into the live space for the first time. What would be some of the things that, even for me, I have never done live for the first time, so I'm gonna be coming in green. So what was that experience, and maybe some tips for someone that is going to the live award show and may not have that experience at all?
Well, to be honest, my very, very first experience of a live award show was amazing. I'm just gonna
Wow.
It was horrible, but it was amazing. Like
That usually tends to happen to be like bittersweet.
it was horrible while I was going through it, right?
Yeah.
But when it was over, I was like, oh, it's the best thing in the world. I want to do it again. That adrenaline rush. Like, you know,
like, is it coming back?
the adrenaline was rushing through. Like, it was literally like it took a while to come down, which is how it is for me every live experience. But it was BET Awards, my very first BET Awards, as a producer. I had worked it previously, but in a different capacity, working with the experience side of it.
Yeah.
But this was my first year. I got a call from my friend Ambika. What up, Ambika? I always throw her out there for the call. And she called me and was like, hey, they need another associate producer for BET Awards for the red carpet. You want to do it? I was like, hell yeah. Like, absolutely. Do I want to do it?
Yes.
Like, what? My first producer credit on the live award show? Absolutely. Yes, for sure. When do I start? Like, where do I sign? You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm late 20s. Like, absolutely. Let's go. Yeah, I would love to do this. So when I got there, it was crazy. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of late nights and early mornings. But it was a great team. And the team was split between LA and New York. So we were working, you know, with that time differential and everything as well.
Yeah.
With most of the team being in New York and part of the team being here in LA. But back then, we used to do way more shows than we do now. So we had way more time to prep. We actually worked for like 3 months on the show at the time.
Yeah.
And getting everything in pre-production. But we had shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and 2 on Sunday with the pre and the post show after the awards. So it was amazing, though. It was great. I learned a lot. I learned so much. I actually rolled with that team for the next 4 or 5 years, I think, doing that show, working my way up from associate producer to floor producer. And now this past year, I was a senior supervising producer.
Yes! Congratulations.
Show. So yeah. It's been a long journey, but that first run, I'm not gonna lie, it was rough, but it was amazing. I learned so much from one of the producers who was actually also the show caller, with what I did as well for this particular year. Her name is Noni. A lot of people know her as Noni, but her name is Stephanie.
Yeah.
She was phenomenal. Like, when I say that woman was amazing at what she did, because she came in, and our team, you know, we had some things wrong. We had a producer that was, you know, my producer, I was brand new. He was brand new that I was working under. And, you know, we had to get the things right. It's really difficult with this format. Like, when you work in live television, you have to have this format down. How BET does their format is even more particular. So it was difficult. So when Noni came in from New York, it was like a lot changed for me. Like, the atmosphere for everything changed for me. And I learned from her. She taught me how to do, you know, like, I didn't know nothing about a Chiron. I didn't know anything about, you know, any of the elements that needed to go into a live production. And she was physically, like, literally teaching me while she was correcting my producer's mishaps, I'll say. So,
Wow.
yeah,
And I feel like that era of like executives, I feel like it's becoming a little bit extinct
yeah,
because you don't really get people to be like, I'm going to not only do my job, but I'm going to take the time and teach the next generation at least a little something. You
yeah,
ain't got to give me the full role because
yeah,
it's already crazy at that, but at least being like, I see you, I hear you, I see the potential that you want to move forward. Because I feel like when it was for me, when I shout out to Ricky Hughes, who like pulled me on.
love
It's
Ricky.
like that eye. Like she told me, like she was like a certain eye that he was like, I want to know more than what I am of this role right now. If
Yes.
you got something, hook it up, and they'll bring you along. And so, for you, do you feel like even in the space now, going into 2026, when you went to back to the awards, do you feel that there is more positions? Because I feel like even now with budget cuts and like things like that, it's just they're really tightening up the teams. And how you said back then they were able to split the teams from New York to LA. How is it going into for this year's award show a little bit different, even going into your new role for like that next step?
Well, I mean, everybody know the budgets are just not there. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody knows that they've been cut left, right, side, every which way but loose. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So there are no budgets, to be honest. I put up a photo. I posted a post with in the last 3 years of the show, um, how the teams were. It was all the team photos. So we usually
Yeah.
take a team photo at the end of the show. So I posted 2024, 2025, and then 2026, which is
Mm.
the year that I got the show. And let's just say everyone was like, there's a huge significant difference in the team
Wow.
of what is going on with the people. So, it was a significant difference. It was a lot of more pressure on all of the teams that were involved with the red carpet this year, I feel.
Yeah.
Uh, I think it's been that way for all shows, though, for any production.
Yeah.
You have to do multiple, you know, positions now. It's not just you coming and doing just that one position.
Yeah.
You, you're doing multiple things. So, yeah, no, it's completely different than what it was originally when I, was coming up in this industry.
And you even like took on the role like within less than 24 hours. So tell me that experience of when you get into put to one role, but then when God just works mysterious ways and see you for your biggest potential, you
Yeah.
get an upgrade in the midst of the upgrade. So tell me how you were able to like just figure out things, how you were able to utilize your skills overall in your experience with live shows in that moment within less than 24 hours.
Well, so like I said, when I started on this show, I was an associate producer and I worked my way all the way up. So
Yeah.
I've been on this show consistently since I started this show. I want to say more than anybody that has been on the show because only years that I missed was the pandemic years.
Yeah.
And I think it went over to someone else because my executive producer, she left and went over to Tyler Perry Studios.
Okay.
So she was no longer doing the show when the pandemic hit. So 2020, 2021, I did do a show. I came back 2022.
Mm.
So I don't think anyone that had done the shows had done 2020 or 2021. Maybe 2021. I'm not sure. I don't know because I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But there had been no one consistently since 2015 that had been on the show as many years consistent as I had.
Mm.
So I felt like I was the right man for the job. Like, who else could do it is what I was thinking in the back of my mind. You know what I mean? Like, when
Right.
it came to me with the whole scenario and the situation, I was taken aback for a minute because I was like, wait a minute, hold on, what? Like, I had to process what was actually going on. I won't get into the details and the specifics of it,
Yeah.
but I was processing that more so than processing, okay, I'm finna, do the show. I mean, because they had called me originally the Monday prior to the show to come in to call the show. So I already knew I was calling the show, and if you know what the show caller does in their position, then they kind of already helping steer the ship, so to speak. So I already knew coming into it what I was kind of going to be, expected of. Yeah. So when that additional piece just got dropped in my lap, it was just like, it took a minute, like, let me regroup. And then it was like, let's fucking go. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, bet.
It was like, let's fucking go. Like, let's do this. All right, this is what we need to do. This, that, the third. Let's make sure this is happening. Da, da, da. Like, it was like second nature. It just kind of picked up for me like normal. It was like, okay, I've seen 2 different executive producers before me do this. I've seen other supervising producers do this. I've seen numerous of producers come in and out throughout those years.
Yeah.
So I had a little bit of piece of almost everybody throughout those years. Yeah. And knew what to do and how to steer and run the ship. So let's fucking go.
And so for you, what makes a good leader when it comes to just live award shows or just even show running, period? What makes a good showrunner?
First of all, I think a good showrunner is someone who actually came up in the ranks. Like a lot of showrunners just kind of, I hate to say this because they probably gonna hate me. They just writers, and then they become, a showrunner from writing and being a writer's room and working away from a writer. But yeah, if you have a showrunner like myself that's worked their way from a PA all the way up to basically number one on the call sheet for behind, the camera, it's like everybody's plight on that production. Yeah. You know what I mean? Everybody's position, what they could be going through, what it takes to get it done. You're not out of tune. And some of them are a little out of tune when it comes to things how it needs to happen, the amount of time it takes on set to get things flipped and split the sets or whatever it is that needs to go on and need to happen. Sometimes they are a little bit out of tune. So to be a good showrunner, I feel like you need to, 1, have some chops in the business. 2, you need to be able to listen. Like, seriously hear your crew, your cast. Make sure, you don't get too far gone to where not only when you writing a story or creating a story, because I'm a writer as well, a writer showrunner, so I create and write shows, but you know what I mean, that you don't get too far gone with the stories, that they stay still rooted and grounded in what, is truth and what's needed versus some craziness that's out here, in these TV streets.
Facts. And I would even tie to, how are you able to navigate in your show running space with creativity and just logistics, and like how you mentioned, like you gotta put some years in. But now we have social media that now it's making the race even faster. And so what would be a tip or just something to keep in mind with having to be a showrunner or a leader in the social media era or content production space?
Some tips, I would say, find somebody that has been doing it and get you a mentor. Find you, somebody who can really give you some real assistance, some real help. if not just advice, you know what I'm saying, as the help or assistance. It could be, they don't have to be there on set. They don't have to come, and show you directly what to do. Just, find people who have done it before and can help you along the way, because those are the people who are going to be able to get you further where you want to go. You know what I'm saying? Some people are too proud to ask. Some people, I ain't too proud to beg, as TLC would say. If I need it and it's something, you know what I'm saying, that
I'm going to leave out of here with something, like Denzel says.
Right. I believe out of here with something, some knowledge, some communication, some networking.
Yep.
A meeting in the future, something. You know what I mean? Even if we just talk, so I, can say, hey, remember we had this conversation at a future date, in a, better setting or something. But yeah, I just, I feel like a good showrunner is just, a one that listens and knows the plight of not just the project, but your team, your cast, the whole overall view of everything, and you actually grasp it and filter it back into your crew, into your people, into, the project itself.
And it shows, when you have a good team, a good vibe, and a good overall production, the feedback from the audience, the viewers, the connection to what you all put out will come back tenfold. If you have a crew that wants to leave before they wrap, that show may not get the traction that you may want to get. And you can buy the bots. But will it come back for another season, or will it come back for another year? Who knows? And so we have a couple more before we wrap, but I want to kind of focus on your media group. Is there any new projects or new entities or new ventures that we are kind of looking into for the group coming up? Is there things coming, or is it I know there's some companies that are going on hiatus because it is the summer, but is there some stuff that's cooking up?
Well, we have a lot of things that we're working on in the pipe. It's a couple documentaries that I want to get out, a short film that I've been trying to get out. We are probably going to be breaking over into this microdrama situation.
Okay.
Trying to, I don't know, I'm gauging, we're gauging. Only because I love the boom of it all, but I don't know if it's going to have that reality boom of it that reality world had when, after that 2008 strike. So
really?
I don't know. I don't know if it is, because where's the money?
Yeah, that's the only thing that I will say that reality TV is still, we are still talking about Nene Leakes memes.
I mean, the networks paying for the shows, though. They was paying for them episodes.
Yep.
Who's paying for the episodes you putting on TikTok? I mean, you can do them to where if you get a part of that TikTok deal that they're doing now, or, get part of one of these streaming deals, but is the deal enough to make money? You know what I'm saying? To really make money. It may be enough money for you to produce these and make them and feed and pay your crew, but at the end, are you leaving with any money? So that's why I'm saying I'm gauging, because where's the money?
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are doing subscription based, you get them hooked and then you got to pay per episode after that, which is what they've been doing over in China, for Asia for years. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry over there, though, but they are so way advanced from us. They have been, working with things at their fingertips for decades before we were. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Their phones and everything seem way more advanced than ours. Even, the little pads and stuff, the technology just seems way more advanced. So I can see why that industry is big there, because people probably don't even have TVs. We're getting to that stage. A lot of people are not buying televisions and stuff like they used to, but people still come home and watch a TV show. You know what I'm saying? So in Asia, I feel like there's more consumers that are watching things at the Palms. Now, our younger youth, they're coming up doing it now more so, but that's just really the youth. our grandparents are starting to get into it because they had no choices. They have been, pigeonholed into doing it because they have to get their medications or they have to do whatever they have to do, and it's all online.
They were in shock with YouTube and Facebook. They still in that world right now.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So imagine to get to a TikTok or something like that. But
yeah,
my granny on TikTok, but she ain't got none on there. But she on there. But that's just because we send her videos in the family chat. So
yeah,
she be like, all right, let me check this out. What you doing? What's happening? She want to keep up with her family.
And
But,
so my biggest question for you is, since you kind of see like microdramas, of course, in the verticals is the gold rush. Where do you feel like the gold rush is for you?
Right now, honestly, my company, we pivoted and added live events and festivals and production touring to the slate of services that we offer. So,
yeah,
honestly, we've been kind of pivoting toward live events, brand deals. We had a couple brand deals with few different brands. That's kind of been what's been the bread and butter right now because TV has not really been popping.
yeah.
I have broke over into the agriculture world. I'm hopefully going to have something coming up for the agriculture world. This could be really, really huge. We're still trying to flush that out and work on that as well. But yeah, it's literally going back to grassroots of it all, right? Like getting back to what you used to do. I started out in radio. I started out in touring. I was, one of the coordinators on the R. Kelly and Jay-Z tour in Chicago. When we started there, we didn't get far, but it was still one of my first tours. Before then, I was stagehands for a lot of different tours that would come through Chicago. So I've done a lot, and I feel like it's time to go back to the grassroots of things. So that's what we're doing. That's where the company has been for the last, I would say, maybe 2-3 years, and it's kind of been the breadwinner.
Listen, like, I totally agree. I think the brands are now becoming the studios. Like, we move out the way Netflix, Warner Brothers, and all that with the mergers and stuff that they got going on. We now see, Chick-fil-A got their own production company, and so now it's kind of like they got some roles. We may have to go over there. I agree for you too. Like, I kind of started pivoting over into more, I would say, creating for local community base than focusing on Hollywood. And it's been so free for me.
Really? Yeah.
I mean, it's not the check that it was, the per diem and the but the freelancer side of me, understanding the business of entertainment, I've been able to at least figure out my own freelance path rather than freelance figuring out for me. And so my last question for you is, with all the experience that you now have with over so much, if you can rewind it back and be able to go into the mirror of your first creative self, what would be the mantra or the affirmation that you would give to them? To yourself.
The mantra or the affirmation? That would probably be, times might get rough. You're going to want to give up. And you're going to want to not continue on being in the Hollywood life of it all. But don't give up. Don't give up, young man. Don't give up, young man. It will work out in the end. And I'm still waiting for it to work out, y'all. So don't think it's already worked out. But I'm not giving up. I was ready to give up plenty of times.
Yeah.
So because I feel like if you stop, then it's done, right? But if you keep going, you never know where it could end. I mean, it could maybe blow up to beyond what you ever could have imagined. Or it could just be something mellow and straight and smooth, and it just keeps you paying your bills and afloat and living a decent life. This life that we chose is a juggle. I mean, I went to school for this, I have a degree in this, so it's not like, I just fell into it or something like that. No, I actually studied this and wanted to be a part of this community and career of this. So keep going, young man, young woman. Keep going.
I love that. And I even will add that too of you are more like don't feel like your story is in the weaves and waves just because it's not an Emmy just yet or it doesn't have the 1 million views just yet. Even the 20 likes that you got from dropping your podcast or dropping your vlog or dropping something, you just created an audience.
Yeah.
And so if we can continue to just keep that mindset of whatever audience we have, as long as someone's watching, then you're doing something.
Yeah.
Then, like you said, you gonna be all right.
Keep
so
going.
while we wrap up, where can we follow you on your personal and for your business?
You can follow me on all platforms, PROD, which is basically short for produce, but PROD by Eugee, E-U-G-E-E. A lot of people want to put that gene in there, but it's just Eugee, y'all. E-U-G-E-E. My business is SYL Media Group on all platforms as well. Sylver Media Group. You can find us wherever you need your services. Hit us up. We got you.
Yes. Book him right now. Because listen, he's gonna get your stuff in what? Less than 24 hours. Okay?
Get you together.
So, Kevin, I already knew your story was already going to be just so fulfilling of so many gems and so many different tips that our audience can take away, even for myself. But I honestly, it's been a blessing to see you, like, from where I started to now, like, see you've grown. Like, congratulations on everything that you've done. And always let QOP be a resource for your company. If you have any projects or anything coming up, or if you would like to be a special guest as well, like Kevin, please make sure to DM us. We have a couple of slots open until September when we wrap out the season. But like I said, we always want to support our people. Like I said, we were a Zoom call, and now we are a production hub to be able to share anybody's projects and any gem that you always say. But like we always say, live, love, and create. And so, Kev, it was a joy and a blessing to talk to you.
This was a great conversation. I really enjoyed this. Tom.
Thank you. I had to put my producer hat on to get these questions. So
you're a great host. You're a great host. It was amazing. You're great.
Thank you. If you have any live events or anything that you have coming up and you need a host, call me.
Copy that.
All right, then. Well, I hope everybody has a good rest of their afternoon. Please stay cool. And like I always say, please make sure you're creating all the time. Don't stop storytelling because you don't want these other people telling your story, okay? We don't want that.
True.
All right, y'all. See y'all.
Peace.